Dear Art Diary, my drawings suck this week. What was I thinking? I wanted to give up everything and crawl into a hole in the world and hide and not try to do anything at all in case I failed. At least my back is getting better now. Also, it gave me an opportunity to teach my dog to pick up the things that I drop on the floor. But now she keeps giving me random things. I knew it was going to be a hard week, but I really underestimated the amount of time and brain power I was going to need to complete this week, which also means I learned a lot as well. So the first day, with an idea of what I wanted to learn but no real concrete plan of action as yet, I decided to do one head with a few thumbnails of different lighting setups before I begin to draw the main image. So I chose the one that I liked best, and also it's not too far from the original lighting but a bit stronger, so I thought it might make it easier to an intro into doing it. So the common issues I've been having is creating a good range of values with the pencil. I feel like I didn't get as dark as I wanted to in some areas, and I also got impatient with the shading in the background, so it got a little bit messy. I also realised that this was going to take so much more work to practice and that I'm not going to get much else done for the day. I was wiped out mentally after doing these sketchpad pages. But I do like this one. I think it's probably one of the better ones that I did this week. With day 2, I made the mistake of not doing the thumbnails and just jumping in. Another mistake was making the head too big for the page. I think it grew as I was blocking in the shapes. That's a common error that I actually do, and I need to rein it in. Putting on the facial features, it started moving the whole thing around. It's just one of my own common problems. I need to get better at containing my drawings. And after I accepted that this was going to be bigger than I wanted, I just started working out the lighting and the pencil work and the shading. Things were actually going really well and I was feeling good about it despite the size. Then I wanted to make the dark side darker and it just fell apart from there. I basically just overworked this one. I lost all the nuances in his face, which I then tried to get back, but it just wasn't the same. And it's a shame because right before this misguided decision of making it darker, things were actually looking okay. But looking at it now, I think the proportions are off too. So this was one of the worst ones for this week. Finding the problem areas and weak points is good though. It allows me to work on them, and that will be something that happens a lot this week. So with that in mind, and having gotten over the previous day's disaster, I knew I needed to pull it back a little bit and just try a different tactic. So I picked one head to draw and I drew it 4 times with different lighting angles. And boy, was this hard. It was hard to draw the same head 4 times after the first one. Well, once I'm done, I don't want to do it again. And they all look different. As long as it looks like a head, I'm going with it. And then I picked 4 different lighting setups to practice with. And yeah, that was just really hard. And what was hard about it? Well, trying to figure out where the shadows are going to fall over the features and will cast shadows and what shapes those shadows will look like. Because my reference for the lighting was facing straight, so I had to interpret how it would look on the head at a slight 3/4 angle, and that just hurt my brain, and I'm still trying to recover, but my God, was that a good exercise. It's the holy grail of both drawing heads and understanding lighting, and it made me wish I had one of those foam heads so I could control the lighting and the angles and see how it falls and practice from that. I might keep an eye out for one, or even a clay head or something. Any type of head that I could just move around and shine a light on, I think would work. I think the third one is the nicest. It was the most complicated because of the secondary light, but I think it looks nice. The last one is supposed to be bright, direct light from overhead, making hard shadows on the face. I don't think I quite got that one right, but I just have to keep practicing, that's all. Day 4, and I was just still so overwhelmed, and I just found it just too hard to figure out. I don't know. My little brain just couldn't do it. I know I made a lot of mistakes, and I think the actual head took a few steps back. Looks nothing like the reference, and quite frankly, I didn't enjoy drawing it. The slight downward angle is something that I can't really seem to grasp, let alone lighting it. This really made me want to give up, not just this drawing, but this challenge, my goal. I actually entertained the thought of giving up art altogether after this day. I had to talk myself out of it and tell myself to wait it out. And clearly I'm not ready to study lighting in this way, and I'm going to have to do some basic study outside of this sketchpad challenge thing, goal thing that I've got going, to work those concepts out. It really showed me how much I was lacking, and I didn't like that feeling. The thought of doing so much study on one subject and how little I knew about it, about executing what little I know, which is basically nothing, was really humbling. I don't want to be the person that gives up easily that I've been in the past, and I had to really talk myself into continuing on this journey. I just want to at least give up on trying to draw lighting that's not actually on the reference image. It's just too hard. So yeah, this day was just difficult to get over, but I did. I'm fine now. I'm fine now. So that brings us to today, and I'm critiquing this basically right after drawing it, so I can't really look at it more objectively as far as the end results go, but I can say that once again the vision in my head did not transfer to the drawing. This challenge was just it was very hard. It was too hard for me, and I found that while concentrating so hard on figuring out where these shadows go, where the whole lighting thing, I forgot about the other things that I learned, and I lost patience as well. I think this was just too advanced for my current skills, and the most I learned was that I know so little about applying lighting to heads. I can see that I will need copious amounts of practice scenarios to even start to understand without panicking and that feeling of being really lost. I could go back to basics, but how basic? I mean, I can understand how light and shadow might fall on an egg, but a head has a lot more lumps and bumps to take into account, and it can face, it has different angles and lots of other things going on. But as far as this drawing, I guess it's okay. Like I said, I'm not really looking at it objectively, but I guess it's okay. At the moment, that's my opinion on it. Maybe tomorrow I'll think it's awful. I did lose patience on the hair, and it shows. My pencil work quickly defaulted to my messy scrawl, and if I'm honest with myself, I need to feel a lot more comfortable drawing heads to begin with, let alone applying my own lighting choices to them. So to summarise, I guess sometimes it takes a big step or a leap into the unknown just to see what's there and how you might transverse it the next time you take that leap. The fact that I feel like I failed a bit, or a lot, and by that I mean I didn't do a very good job, isn't the point. I could go run away with my tail tucked, but I'm going to do my best to keep drawing and learning and take this as a positive. And it is a positive because the more I learn about it now will only make my work better in the future. I just have to remember that. The fact that my current drawings are this shit is okay because they are needed to progress to the better drawings. If I can just tap into my natural curiosity to explore it more instead of my more negative traits, I can see this as a great opportunity to learn. And that is the biggest lesson I have learned this week. It's a huge one. How are you supposed to find out what you don't know if you never make those mistakes to find out? I'm glad I did it this week. It's a massive hurdle, and I'm learning to deal with it without giving up like I might have in the past. So, yeah. As for next week's subject/challenge, I don't know what it is going to be yet, as I'm going to be upgrading my PC this weekend with a SSD card and another video card, which was given to me by a family member after they upgraded theirs to a newer one. So I don't know if I'm going to run into any issues while reinstalling everything. Fingers crossed, but I think I'll think of a topic to learn next week and update the reference files once I know. So did you challenge yourself to practice your drawings this week? Did you learn something new? Let me know if you did in the comments, because I would really love to read them. So with all that done and said for this week, I hope you keep drawing, keep learning, and keep getting better. And remember that we aren't done yet. See you next week. Bye.